What's up, fight fans? Greetings from the Wrestleverse. This is Tijon, and it's time to take it to the ring. All right, man, it's finally here. Today is the day. We are, 3 hours away from Elimination Chamber. And man, like you already know how excited I am. And I know you guys are just as excited as I am. There's been a whole lot of build up. And, last night was just the final piece of, that building block leading up to this event tonight. And honestly, I'm super excited. I can't wait to see you guys again tonight. You'll see me 2 times back to back. 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock. We're going to talk about this. You'll see me, Billy, and Lady J. I believe it's gonna be fun to recap. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, we got to talk about last night, man. SmackDown put on a very great show. It was really complete. I have no complaints about how SmackDown ran their promotion last night. It was just the perfect way to keep us entertained. Like, it wasn't like a dud of an event. Like, we all know that this wasn't going to be super crazy. You got to keep your wrestlers good and fresh for the ones that are going all the way out there to compete tonight or today. So it was a really good event for what it was supposed to be. It was entertaining. It kept building up that suspense. We got to see a little more, drama backstage. It was just fun. It was a fun night. So I have no complaints off of how last night went. Like I said, it was a great time. So kicking it off, we started out seeing Adam Pearce bring out, Ronda Rousey, Naomi, and Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville for their tag team match coming up tonight. So as you can see, these guys clearly don't like each other. Like, they spent most of the time fighting and arguing with each other. And Sonya Deville, actually, you can still see her in that sling. But she's doing most of the mouthing off. And honestly, it's kind of weird because it looked to me as though Charlotte Flair was kind of brushed over, which is something that we're definitely not used to seeing. But at the same time, most of that beef is Naomi and Sonya Deville. This beef between Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey is still fresh. It's like it's still too new. We already know how that bad blood is between Naomi and Sonya Deville. So that's kind of the bigger fight right now, which is really strange, but at the same time, it's been super entertaining. It's kept us looking, so I don't have an issue with it. From what I can tell, this is far from over even after this match, so I'm super excited about it. But Sonya Deville actually added a stipulation to the match. So a little backstory, there was Rousey actually said in an interview a bit ago that she could beat Sonya Deville with one arm behind her back, like tied behind her back. So she actually added that into the contract and let her know that. But Ronda Rousey, she doesn't care. So she was like, whatever, like, I could beat you with both hands behind my back. If I had no hands, I'd still tap dance over you. So really, like, I love her confidence. I'm pretty sure she could do it even with no arms. Sonya Deville is a great wrestler, though, so don't be too confident. But I just love that confidence about Ronda Rousey. And that also could be seen after they finally signed the contracts. You see Ronda Rousey throw that contract into Charlotte Flair's face. The two, Rousey and Naomi, then, start striking Sonya and Charlotte, and then ended up throwing the whole table, Charlotte and Sonya. So that was actually a great way to show how much beef there really is between these guys. Like, this is gonna be a really, really great match. But I really do think it's surprising how confident these guys really are. Well, these girls. It's like kind of already writing them off, even though Naomi has now lost to Charlotte Flair 3 times, and the last one was a fair one. Of course, she's beaten Sonya Deville, but Charlotte Flair is the one that's going to make this match difficult. We haven't seen Charlotte Flair fight Ronda Rousey, so we don't know how competitive this will be, but we know how dangerous Charlotte Flair is. So this is going to be a really, really tough match. But I like the confidence and the cockiness going into it, because you need that. You definitely need that going against somebody like Charlotte Flair, because that's mind games already. And the fact that they kind of made her a side factor in it, like I said, is a surprising development in it. But it was really like it's really interesting. So I'm more so looking to see what Charlotte Flair does in this match. Will she be more on the side, and will this be more of a more of a Naomi and Deville match that we've grown to see these past few weeks, or will this be also more of that Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair buildup that we've been looking at since that's going to happen in WrestleMania? Time will tell, man. But either way, I'm excited. Both matches are going to be great. Next up, I didn't know how I feel about this next one, the Sheamus and Ricochet match, but it was actually really good. They surprised me with it. So Sheamus came out and was really starting to get disgusted with Rich Holland, his protege. Like it was very apparent, I gotta say. Oh, hold on. Let me see. Keith, I see you. Has anyone said anything about the upcoming Owen Hart Cup tournament? I haven't heard anything yet, but it should be coming up. So, keep your eyes out for it. But um it's kind of interesting to finally see Sheamus start to question Rich Holland as, his protege, because he did lose to Ricochet last time they fought. And, Sheamus has been beating the crap out of Ricochet. So he's like, "What are you doing?" So he said, "Watch me once again and take some notes, because there's no reason why you should be struggling against somebody like Ricochet." But match, Ricochet had other plans, to say the least. Like, this was a fantastic showing for Ricochet. Dude came out with way more aggression than we've seen in the matches with Sheamus. Sheamus literally dogged him these last few matches. Like, it really wasn't that competitive. Sheamus just uses his power. But we saw Ricochet, like we just saw a whole new side of Ricochet. Ricochet came out super aggressive. You can see it with this like mean drop kick. That was the start it, man. It was awesome. This match was fantastic. He's just pummeling Sheamus in the corner. And this was all in like the first minute of the match. Now, of course, Sheamus has that strength, and he definitely displayed that last night. Like, that's undebatable. You can tell the size difference between them. So Ricochet has to use, that agility, and that's all that this fight was, versus agility and like that high flying ability. But Ricochet wowed me, man. Like, this was actually a move from Sheamus. Sheamus just flung him over. Like I said, that overbearing strength just threw him over like a rag doll over the broadcaster's table. But Ricochet was able to bounce back. This isn't anything new that he hasn't experienced before. Even, this beat down. And you can see Rich Holland in the corner there, happy as can be that his mentor is once again beating the crap out of somebody that has beat him, shattered his nose. I was actually surprised to not see him in the mask. Maybe that's just because it wasn't his match this time. But honestly, like, I don't think he was ready for what Sheamus was about to go through, because, Ricochet, man, what great high flying skills. He was flipping all through that ring all night long. It was awesome. Like, he was battering Sheamus more than he ever has. This was a great match for him. The flips, the jumps, everything. I can't pinpoint everything that he did, man. It was just so much. And yeah, Keith, you're right. Sheamus is super powerful, but that was a non-factor. I won't say it's a complete non-factor, but that Ricochet did, Sheamus did not have an answer for. Rich Holland actually had to step in and tried to save Ricochet. Rich tried to save Sheamus from Ricochet, but it backfired, which was kind of hilarious because he almost got a brogue kick. And they started arguing on the side, which even led to Ricochet getting the pin. Now, I am of the belief that Ricochet was going to win this match anyway. Just from how it was going, Ricochet had this match in the bag, man. It was pretty one-sided. Like, Ricochet was winning that fight, and it was awesome to see, because I'm so used to seeing, Sheamus just have his way with Ricochet. Like, I was not interested in this match at all. As soon as he said he was fighting, I was like, here we go again, bro. Like, are they serious? We're gonna see this again? Like, I get that, Elimination Chamber's tomorrow, but come on, man. Y'all couldn't find anybody else. But after seeing this, okay, you got it. That was actually a really good one. I love the fight in general. And I definitely love the fact that Ricochet finally got one. And what I love the most is the fact that there's now this beef starting to form between, mentor and protege. That's a really good like story. Interested in it because you can see how furious Sheamus was with Rich. He blamed Rich Holland completely for that how that match went. Like I said, I think that Ricochet had this match in the bag from the jump. I don't think that he could really blame Ridge. Ridge really tried to help him, but it backfired, and that's kind of the issue sometimes with these interferences. But I think he would have been mad also if Ridge didn't do anything to help. So it was a lose-lose for Ridge Holland. I think that he's just mad at Ridge because he's not turning out to be the guy that he thought he was. So I'm interested to see, will he give him another chance? Like, how can Ridge Holland prove himself now? I don't know how many more matches we can see that display Ridge and Ricochet. I don't see that continuing. It's a lot to keep pushing on fans, especially going into March. Like, come on, we've seen this since day one. I think like it's a lot, but I think we could do one more. I think I'm down for one more match between them. It was fun enough that I had a good time with it, so I'm not gonna complain if we see one more. Maybe Sheamus will give him a chance. If not, I'm not mad at that either. Ridge got to find his own way eventually. So, like, all this is really done is showcase Sheamus's ability. Like, he's still super powerful. He's still a great wrestler. Maybe he can make another run in the future. I don't know, but that's what it's really looking like. It's not looking like the whole I'm bringing Ridge Holland thing is working out as he thought it would. So maybe he's just going to use that momentum for himself. That wouldn't be out of character for Sheamus, but again, we'll just have to see. Next up, though, we had Ivar versus J Uso. Now, this was kind of needed. Definitely going into the Elimination Chamber match because they're putting their title on the line. The Usos are putting their tag team titles on the line against the Viking Raiders, and we haven't seen these guys compete. And I was at least looking at when they were going to fight. I didn't know it would be right before the Elimination Chamber, but I'm glad that it finally happened. Um, Ivar is, in my opinion, the much more like superior Viking Raider, I'd say. Like Eric is great, but watching Ivar compete is just a whole nother thing. And I think the opposite can be said about Jey Uso. I think Jimmy is the bigger draw between them. But Jay really did hold his own, not giving any like backlash to what Jay did. Jay was able to put up a pretty good fight. And this was a lot more of a close match than the Jimmy and Eric fight that passed earlier. But Ivar's just a different beast, man. It wasn't that long of a match. And Ivar is strong, he's huge, and he's able to do crazy stuff like super agility, super agile moves that normally anybody his size wouldn't be able to hit. I mean, this guy is way bigger than KO, you know? And he's still able to do the same moves as Kevin Owens. Like that's very impressive to me. I really like Ivar competing, which makes me like thinking that the Viking Raiders might take it. But I don't want to lament too much. You can probably tell Ivar was clearly winning this match, almost got the pin until Jimmy, of course, in typical bloodline fashion now, disrupted the pin and got the DQ no contest. At least that's what I think it was. It may have been a DQ and a win for Ivar, but I'm not really sure how they ended that match. Either way, it was kind of soiled and honestly starting to become the storyline of how the bloodline do things because Roman Reigns has been doing that as of late. Anybody that he doesn't like, when they're winning the fight, he jumps in. With Brock Lesnar, we saw him do it with Seth Rollins when he was fighting the Usos. Um, Time that he sees the people that he does like losing and he sees the people that he doesn't like winning, he jumps in, it becomes a DQ or like a really soiled victory for the other people, and then you're left with question. I mean, of course, I really believe that Ivar was going to win that. Like it was like the third count was coming. but it's like a pride thing. I'm not gonna let you win this cleanly. I'd rather people look down on me or bad about what I do than have people say that you beat me. I think that that's really what it comes from. But it's a real heel move. But these guys aren't really heels, so I don't know if it's a way to show them as not good or bad. But it is interesting because we always think of the bloodline as like they're like the greatest, they're the good guys, but they're not real. That's not really the case, especially this year. And I kind of like that, but I also really liked that Eric stepped in, snatched that helmet from him because they stole those helmets last week. He finally gets his helmet back and smashes Jimmy with it, which makes him stumble out the ring, flip over the ropes. It was just kind of hilarious to see like him finally get some kind of redemption because the Usos have honestly been running the show when it comes to this feud that they've had coming into their match tonight. And it was just really nice to finally see the Viking Raiders get some kind of momentum, some kind of traction before they fight. It's really been a one-sided affair. It used to be the Viking Raiders somewhat intimidating the Usos. And I think the Usos picked up on that. So they had to like let them know, like we're better than you. We are the champs. And you're not about to just scare us. And they've been doing a whole lot of tactics to prove that. So I'm glad to see the Viking Raiders finally get some kind of shine. And I'm really looking forward to that match. I won't say that it's my most anticipated match because this next one has been something that I love because I love a good payback story. Those are always satisfying to watch. That's why that whole Naomi and Sonya Deville one was so great to watch. But you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Drew McIntyre, man. Drew McIntyre came out and put out this spiel about how much he loves New Orleans because this one was in New Orleans, and he actually revealed that he actually lived in New Orleans at the time where the Saints won the Super Bowl. I'm not a Saints fan. I'm a Falcons fan, so I have a deep, deep hate for the Saints. But that was like, admittedly, that was probably one of the best Super Bowl runs of recent memory. That was super, super awesome. But he just was talking about how much he has love for the city, the love for the people, and how after he got through all that spiel, he went on to talk about how this comeback that he's having has been reminiscent of that Super Bowl run that the Saints had. Of course, we're talking about Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin jumping him in the back day one and almost ending his career with those real dirty tactics. Like they basically broke his neck, and he came back very very soon. I don't know if he's 100%. He sure acts like he is, and if he is 100%, man, that's awesome. That's really crazy. He's a superhuman if he's able to recover the way that he has been. So he's really looking forward to this match against Madcap Moss because even though Madcap Moss has been kind of the lackey when it comes to Happy Corbin, he still deserves some payback. So I think that this match between Madcap Moss and Drew McIntyre is going to be Drew's first taste of payback, getting some vengeance on that duo. And I'm really looking forward to like everybody else. I just want him to beat the crap out of Happy Corbin. But if Madcap Moss has to get it first, cool. I'm good with that too. But Drew is super excited about this fight with Moss, and he even called like a call to action to all the people in the Wrestleverse. I don't know if you guys are gonna do it. I'm probably going to get on Twitter. He said, get on Twitter, type in hashtag Madcap Mauling. Type in what you want Drew McIntyre to like do to Madcap Moss in this fight, and he'll do it. He said the more the worst things that you could think of that you can do to somebody in the ring, put that in. Let him know because this isn't a false count anywhere match. So he literally can do anything to Madcap Moss, and I think that Madcap Moss should be terrified because Drew McIntyre is a intimidating figure, to say the least. You don't want to piss him off. And the fact that you couldn't get him down and you did what you did and were involved with it there's a target on you, and I don't think there's anything that you can do about it. But I'll pray for you, Madcap. But to be honest, they didn't seem that phased. They both came out after that call out, and they both seemed pretty cocky about it. I mean, Happy Corbin was like, "How are you gonna sit there and say all that? What about the Scottish children? Blah blah blah, whatever." And Madcap Moss started making jokes about it, which was surprising, especially seeing how scared he was last week. Like he didn't even want to fight him. He was doing everything he could to get out of that fight, and Drew had to tell him, You're not getting out of this. You're gonna get this ass whooping." So, with that being said, it was honestly interesting to see him kind of turn face like that. And Madcap Moss just was like, you're not 100%. There's no way that you're completely healed after what we did to you. So you already know what I'm going to target. I'm going after your neck, and I'm going to put you out, and I'm going to end your career. That's basically what he said. And then he started making, his little corny jokes, talking about what does his neck and a very popular cereal had in common, and it was Snap, Crackle, and Pop. Like, oh my God. Like, just stop doing it. And I mean, nobody laughed, of course. And Drew even admitted, he was like, if it wasn't for your gimmick, you'd be a great wrestler. And that's the truth. Madcap Moss is awesome to watch. I love watching Madcap Moss fight. I hate hearing him talk. And I think everybody can agree with that. But I mean, him pairing with Happy Corbin has ruined his character in a way. When it comes to Drew McIntyre, I think that the pairing in general with Happy Corbin is pretty good because it's made everybody watch the both of them. But everybody is definitely paying attention to Madcap Moss because he's been pretty great to watch in the ring. I enjoy every time that he steps in, and even Happy Corbin is pretty good too. But they don't have anything on Drew McIntyre. Let's be honest. This wasn't a good decision. And they did not put him out. They should have put him out, but Drew McIntyre's a monster, man. Now they're gonna have to face the music. And Drew McIntyre even said that tonight will be the day that laughter died. That's one hell of a statement. I don't know how I would feel hearing that from somebody who's then pointing a sword at you. What do y'all think that he's gonna do? Honestly, I don't know if he's gonna use the sword. I doubt he'll use the sword like that, but he may hit him in the head with like the butt of it a few times. I can see that happening, but it's definitely gonna be a fun one to watch. I'm more so looking forward to this because I just like that satisfying beatdown that you get when somebody does something dirty and that doesn't put the good guy out, and then the good guy comes back and makes them pay. That's always a great storyline. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't know how what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know how one-sided it'll be because, like I said, Madcap Moss did a pretty good job with him last time fighting him. So if Drew McIntyre isn't 100%, this might be a pretty even fight. But we'll see. I'm really excited, man. But let's move on to the best fight of the night. It was the last fight, but it was definitely the best fight of the night, man. I'm super, super surprised about how this one went, man. And that was Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura. Man, wow. Like, I was taken super off guard by that. I hope that you guys watched that. That was probably one of the best fights that I've seen. It was awesome. It was intense. I had a great time with it. So before they fought, they both got interviews. Sami Zayn is super happy with finally being able to get, that this opportunity. He's been talking about how he's been cheated, how Shinsuke Nakamura has been ducking him. It's finally coming into fruition. So he was just ready for it, man. And you can see that in the fight. And Shinsuke kind of wrote him off. Was like, if he thinks that he's gonna win, then he's clearly is insane. That's what he said, which was kind of funny. But it was a super great match. I can't lament enough at how entertaining this match really was. If you didn't watch it, bro, back and watch this fight. I don't want to spoil it for you too much, but Jesus Christ, this match was so intense. This had all the makings of a great, great fight. Like, and you can see it through all of these slides here. Sami Zayn came out swinging, and so did Shinsuke Nakamura. In fact, I'm gonna go back real quick, and this is a very, very key point in the match right here. In the beginning, he injured his knee, kept going, and kept fighting. Even though Sami Zayn really took over after that point, the heart of Shinsuke Nakamura was on full display, refused to lose. This was a match that took at least 30 minutes. Like, I don't know how long it was, but I didn't care. I think everybody was super enthralled. This armbar that he did should have been the end. I don't even know how Sami Zayn got out of it. As you can see, there's no defense, but I guess the sheer power, the surprising sheer power of Sami Zayn able to muscle out of it, and the fight continued. You can't really tell in this one, but there was this baseball slide kind of slam that Shinsuke Nakamura did on Sami Zayn. Like, these guys went at it, bro. This was an awesome fight. There was like, I had no idea who was gonna win. After a while, man, I mean, these guys just did so much to each other. There was so much damage, but it was all coming down to that leg, man. Every time that Shinsuke got some real good momentum, you know, Sami Zayn did something to even it by targeting his knee somehow. It was pretty rough to watch him, like, you know, really writhing over that leg. But Shinsuke really did his thing to keep into this fight. And every time that it looked like Sami Zayn was going to put it away, he refused to give up. You can see the beatdown that Sami Zayn was giving him. And I mean, this one almost led to a DQ because the crowd started like chanting Sammy sucks. And that just took him over the edge, man. I mean, it was like a 4.5 count, almost DQ'd. I'm glad it didn't get DQ'd because then we got to see him do Shinsuke Nakamura's come on time. Like, he just like went to the corner, like, come on. And that was pretty funny to watch. But that sparked this like rage in Shinsuke Nakamura that then just led to this repeated stomp move that like that it just put Sami Zayn out for a while. And then Sami Zayn was able to do his stomp right back. And that was one of the most intense come-ons I've ever seen him do. Like, this was a great, great match, man. Like I said, I don't want to give too much away. You have to watch it. I would never in a million years expect them to put on that much of a spectacle like they did. But they really did that, man. This was an awesome, awesome fight. But going back to it, man, Sami Zayn ran out the ring right before Shinsuke Nakamura was able to do his finisher. One of the smartest moves he did in the fight. Though, using that corner to just keep targeting that left leg. This was the biggest turning point in the match. This was where it all went downhill. He literally battered this man's leg until he couldn't do anything at all anymore. He could barely stand. And of course, because of that, he was able to get the pin and the victory. Shocked the entire WWE Wrestleverse. Like, I was not expecting him to win. Nothing pointed to him winning this fight before coming into this match. But this was a great showing, even though it was a dirty win. Sami Zayn clearly didn't care. He's been super happy, super excited since he finally gets his belt back. This is the third time that he's won it. Can't wait for them to run it back. If I'm being completely honest, I know it's going to take a while. I know that this is going to be a minute before we see Shinsuke Nakamura get it back. And I'm sure that Sami Zayn is going to do everything in his power not to face Shinsuke Nakamura again. Maybe this will be Rick Boogs' time to come in because we didn't see Rick Boogs. Apparently, it was because of the shocking that he got last week. But, you know, so this was a true one-on-one match. Maybe this will open up for, you know, Rick Boogs to avenge his best friend. But I would love to see them compete again. This was one of my most treasured fights in a while. I will gladly watch this fight again. I had so much fun with it, and I know that anybody who watched it feels the same, man. This was great. It was just awesome. I can't say enough about it. That was a great fight. I loved it. But the night ended with, of course, the final face-off between Goldberg and Roman Reigns. And I mean, it was kind of funny hearing Paul Heyman really stroke the ego, just bubbling, gushing all over Roman Reigns. Super weird, man. Like, I mean, there's got to be a point where you have some kind of dignity. But he was just all over Roman Reigns, just talking all the praises in the world that he could come up with for Roman Reigns. And I mean, deserved enough. I mean, he's the longest reigning champion we have ever seen with the Universal title. I think today it makes it, how long has it been? 537 days. I mean, you got to give the man credit. Like, that is a crazy long amount of time. And I mean, even the crowd had to, like, give him his props. And it was clear that they loved him until Paul Heyman started running his mouth. And he kind of like, he went on this like big crusade about, he's every major sportsman in his prime. He's the MJ in his prime. He's Wayne Gretzky in his prime. And then he messed up because he mentioned Drew Brees in a derogatory way and then switched it to saying Tom Brady in his prime. And that led to a whole lot of who that chants. Now, again, I'm not a Saints fan, so I loved it. Screw Drew Brees. He's a great quarterback, but he played for the wrong team. I have no love for him. But it was just it was rough because that just made the crowd then kind of switch on Roman Reigns because you have this man talking for you. And clearly he doesn't know where he's at. Then give it to the Saints fans, man. They show out. They're one of the most loyal fans. You don't want to piss them off. And that's what you basically saw last night. And after a few more comments, Goldberg had enough. Finally came out, and we just see him stalking the ring. And he's not one for words. He's always been about that action, and that's why we love him, man. And he got a mic, immediately threw it down, and just walked him down. Just was walking Reigns down, and it was pretty funny to watch because really tell unless like I just got the vibe. Roman Reigns seemed a little scared, man. Not gonna lie. Like it seemed like when somebody gets overly aggressive, it's fear. It's definitely fear. And if you have somebody like Goldberg walking you down, you're gonna have a fight or flight response. Most of us would run. Roman Reigns isn't that guy. Doesn't mean that he wasn't a little scared. You should be scared, but at the same time, I don't know. He's kind of old. I don't know who's gonna win. I feel like Roman Reigns is gonna pull it off. I would be really shocked if Goldberg gets it, but Goldberg is super confident. I mean, the only thing that he really said was, 12 o'clock, and that he has to apologize to all the fans because he made the comment that Roman Reigns is next, and he was like, no, when it comes to the Universal title, Goldberg is next. And that's when we saw the face off. What like that's some bold words, man. I'm excited. I didn't know if I would get excited for this match if I'm being honest. I didn't think that Goldberg still had it in him. But, he talks that talk and he says very few words, but his demeanor and his antics, that's all we need. So I'm looking forward to it, man. This is going to be a great event tonight. So definitely tune in. Get the pay-per-view, get Peacock, and watch this fight. It's going to be awesome. I'm super excited for it. But so let's get into the ratings real quick, man. So you know how we do it. 5 stars is Fight Forever. 4 stars is This Is Awesome. 3 stars, you still got it. 2 stars, what? And 1 star, it's boring. You're better off not watching it. So, in my honest opinion, like I said in the beginning, SmackDown did what they had to do last night. This was an actually fantastic fight to watch. All of them were great. It wasn't that many fights, but every fight that there was entertaining. There was no shortage of action. And there was definitely no shortage of drama all leading up to tonight. So I actually have no complaints. This was great. I'm still gonna give it a 3-star, just because it wasn't that much action. There wasn't that many fights. But man, I can't talk enough about the Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn fight. I mean, wow, dude, that was a 5-star fight. If we're being completely honest, that was a 5-star fight. I loved it. That was awesome. I had a great time with that. And if this was like on a Wednesday or anything else, I'd have gave this probably a 5-star if they made it a regular kind of event. But unfortunately, you can't do that. And I think that it was pretty smart for them to save it for right before Elimination Chamber because this was the match that made this card. This match made the whole event interesting. Like you could even tell from the crowd. The crowd really wasn't paying too much attention. They weren't that into anything going on. They kind of were just there. But that fight, they were all invested in. And for good reason. Again, guys, if you did not watch any fight, if you don't listen to anything else I have to say, watch that fight. Watch that fight. It was that good. I'm telling you. And I am just as surprised saying it as you're probably already hear it. It was great. I had nothing but great things to say about it. And I'm super excited to see how tonight goes and what the future holds, man. I like WWE's been doing great. Can't say enough. But I know we don't have that much time left, man. Like I said, it's what 2.5 hours now. Wow. So, get your minds right, man. This is gonna be one for the books. I'm super excited. Please don't let me down like you did last time, WWE. I'm praying. I'm praying that you take some notes off of what happened Royal Rumble and you don't let it happen again. And guys, I will see you guys again at 4 o'clock to cover it and 6 o'clock with the All Real crew. But that's all that I got. Definitely check us out on social media and on YouTube. Follow these links here, TTR Wrestling and the All Real crew. Comment, like, follow, subscribe, do everything, man. Hit us up. I would love to know what you guys think about these matches. Let me know what you guys are looking forward to the most. What are your predictions? Engage, man. I would love to hear it from you guys just as much as I'm giving it because I like to talk, but I like to listen too, just a little bit. I like hearing myself talk more. But that's all I got, man. Thank you guys for tuning in again. I'll see you guys in a few hours afterwards. So, like I said, get your minds right. But this is T-John and signing off, man. Keep it real.